Chiquita! Come here, girl.
There is no spoon. There is no spoon.
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 A thumbnail-sized little devil frog must return to feed on the forest floor, leaving her young exposed to the predators that hunt around bromeliad pools. But Mum has a plan. She gorges on tiny, poisonous ants. But this ingenious frog can assimilate ant toxins into a much more potent compound, making her skin fatal to the touch. Now she needs to pass her poison power to her young. In each pool, she lays a single unfertilized egg, laced with neurotoxins. And as the tadpoles eat, poison releases from the egg and floods the nursery pool.
Apostate Ashley here, former pastor, now atheist. I am the communications director for a 501c3 nonprofit called the Clergy Project. In a moment, I will share what the Clergy Project is and what we offer, and in return, I would love your help sharing this video. The Clergy Project is exclusive for clergy and ex-clergy who no longer believe in anything of the supernatural. You can apply to be in the Clergy Project on our website, www.clergyproject.org. One of our screeners will do a video call with you or a phone call with you to ask you a few important questions about your time in ministry and why you no longer believe. Once approved, you will have access to our discreet online forum as well as our hidden Facebook group. A lot of our members are anonymous and like to keep it that way, using a pseudonym because they are not ready to come out in the open yet about being an atheist. Being a member of the Clergy Project, you have to understand the anonymity of a lot of the members. We offer subsidized therapy sessions with the Secular Therapy Project, as well as career training. When you are clergy and your whole life is completely tied to the ministry, it can be very difficult to leave. It isn't like a normal job where you can put your 2 weeks notice in and move on to something else. Your church community, your local community, your finances, your family, your marriage, your children are all usually tied in to your ministry. So for some, it feels impossible to leave when you no longer believe. A lot of us only know the ministry and never got any proper schooling outside of Bible college or seminary in order to be able to work in the real world in a secular environment. As a clergy member, coming out as an atheist can be extremely scary and seem almost impossible. A lot of the times, it can destroy families. It can lead to divorce. It could lead to you losing your job, your finances, almost immediately. It can lead to being publicly shunned. It can lead to losing all of your friends and everyone that you've been around for many years. So any clergy or ex-clergy need to know that this nonprofit exists, that we are here to help, we're here to help you get out, and we're here to help you figure out what your next steps are. Personally, being in the Clergy Project has been one of the best things I've ever done for myself.
Good morning, good morning. We are live from the Hive. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. A little bit long layout of my intro this morning. I didn't anticipate that, but I do like to make sure I show Ashley's at least every few weeks, so that anybody in my community or that comes into my community that could benefit from the services that are offered there can know about the Clergy Project. So yeah, and sharing her video around is the least I can do to help out with that. I can't imagine what it's like to go through something like that. Good morning, everybody. Wow, we already got 16 butts in the seats this morning. Let me say hello. Native Atheist, One Ring 42, Greg Hartwick, Johnster Monster, Stephanie Helms, Tsunami, Captive Desk, Look at the Trees. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Maya's here. Brian Stevens is here. Who else do we have? Oh, yeah, we got Boston Celtics, Sasquatch Secrets. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So, yeah, we are live. We are in the Hive, and we have a show ahead of us. So, thank you all for sticking around and through my 10-minute preamble. I just like to do that to wait to get butts in the seats. That's really what that's for. I do a little bit of editing. I enjoy it, and I like to share it with the world. So, thank you all for joining me. First, a little housekeeping. I don't know how many of you are part of my broader community as far as is skepticism and activism and all that. But last night I was on Jefferson Spatchcock's channel, and we were reviewing some conversation between Pine Creek and King Xerxes, and it was pretty cringy. I had to leave before the really big cringe part started, but yeah, it was rough to sit through. There was a lot of misogyny, a lot of obvious gender critical stuff, but there was misogyny. There was stuff about abortion clinics and things, and yeah, I got really tingled. If you didn't see that, I'm thinking about resharing it on this channel just to let people know what other kind of shenanigans I get up to. So look for that coming here in the next couple of weeks, probably, if I get around to it, because I didn't stay for the whole thing, so I may not share the whole thing, but we'll see. But yeah, they loved Stephanie. Yep. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there as well. I'm also thinking about doing a fundraiser for electrolysis. It's really a matter of dysphoria at this point. I struggle to, especially when I have to be in the office, which the more responsibility I'm taking on at work, which is good. I should be taking on more responsibility in my grown-up life, but the more responsibility I take on at work, the more I have to be in the office, and the more I have to be in the office, the more that my need for electrolysis stands out. So with that in mind, I don't know when I would start that or when I would do that, but it's something on the agenda. I've also been looking at getting an electric bike, and I think purple rhymes with orange for that. We were talking about it the other night, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Because just to get around town, right? Just around the area. I have a big truck right now, and I don't need it. So having an electric bike might be worthwhile. Hold on just a second. I just got a message that I've been waiting for, I think. No, I didn't. Okay, well, without further ado, who's ready for some Cryptic Corner? Because I am feeling it. I am feeling this, the season is upon us. So let us pop over into a Cryptic Corner. You know what? I'll see you guys over there. Mwah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cryptic Corner. Thank you for joining me tonight, and I hope that all is well in your little neck of the woods. What is Cryptic Corner? It's where we explore the unknown, the accursed, the hidden, the paranormal, the supernatural, and the forbidden. So thank you so much for joining me and my fantastic live audience right here watching this live from the Hive, which you can join every Saturday morning if you're down for it. So I know all these wild people are, and they are ready to go on this. So I always, when I do my show, I like to be thematic. Had you noticed? So, for July, I made sure that every episode had a certain topic. And that certain topic is sharks. Because Bree loves sharks. I do. I love sharks. And we've had walking sharks, and we've had giant prehistoric sharks, but we have not had any cryptic sharks yet this year. That's about to change. This is this when I say cryptic shark, I'll be like, oh well, that's not really cryptic, but well, we'll talk about it. So, let me see here. So we're going to be exploring the 1916 Jersey Shore shark attacks. So I actually found a video of somebody explaining it pretty well, actually on location. So, what are you doing, Sassy? Let's see here. Let me pull this up, and we will be on our way to adventure. What do you think? This is actually a mural on location. So let's see what these, oh yes, the channel. I always forget to plug the channel. This is Mobile Instinct. It's a huge channel. Well, 389K. That's pretty huge. R and raw level. All right. Yeah, before this, there really wasn't the idea that sharks would be like attacking people. There wasn't, it just wasn't something that was documented. I'm sure there were shark attacks before that, especially, but you know, especially in like the Polynesian population, because they have lore and stuff about shark gods and such. And should I explain what a tidal creek is? I don't think he does, but a tidal creek, it's a creek that where water leaving the groundwater on the shelf meets the tide water rising from the sea. So it's back and forth, clear and brackish water. As it depending on what type of day it is. So some days the salinities, or sometimes of day. Oh, there's no sound. I want a full minute and a half.
Train bridge or whatever this is. 1916. This is actually the site of the 1916 shark attacks that happened here in New Jersey. This is the Matawan area where 2 people were killed, and that really sparked the common fear of sharks that we know of today. That was really the first documented shark attacks. So I wanted to come here and show you what it looks like, show you some of the locations, at least where the 2 kids were unfortunately killed. See, that's the new train bridge. I'm going to show you the old train bridge. So this is actually a tidal creek. We're about a mile or so, maybe a mile and a half from the actual...
I wish that the alerts were more in real time. That'd make that a lot easier, right? Thank you, guys.
Ocean. So what's so extraordinary is that shark had to swim up creek, all the way up here, in order to find these kids. And this is the absolute story that spawned the book and then ultimately the movie Jaws. And you will see a lot of similarities between this.
There's a lot of dead fish in this video. I guess there was some kind of blight that was hitting the local fish population that live in this brackish water. That's so native. That's near the location where the attack was. That's like a memorial, graffiti memorial to where the attack actually happened. They're gonna go show where the actual on site.
The story in the movie or the book. We are coming out to where the actual location is, where the kids were swimming. So I'm going to show you that first. This all started on July 1st, about 70 miles away in Beach Haven. A man named...
You see all these stumps or whatever sticking out behind him. That's not like actual trees. That's where there used to be like docks all along this creek where people would... Maybe it was more privatized, I guess, the travel up and down the creek by little rowboats and such. More privatized, and everybody had a little dock sticking out.
And Charles Vincent was swimming in the ocean with his dog, and he was mauled by a shark. And then 5 days later, it happened again. This time about 30 miles away in the town of Spring Lake. A man named Charles Bruder was swimming, and he was...
And don't let me forget, because I have these locations marked on my Google Earth, and we're going to go look at them. And I almost forget to do my Google Earth segment.
Was mauled by a shark. But the hysteria and the absolute panic.
Yeah, look at the trees. That's actually an isopod, which, you know, I love isopods. I like the little rubber ducky isopods and all kinds of cuteness. But yeah, they're crustaceans. They fill a lot of niches.
Did not start until July 12th, 6 days later, in this area of Matawan, New Jersey, that a young 11-year-old boy was swimming with his friends, and he was also attacked. And what's amazing about that is this is 1.5 miles inland from the ocean. So that shark had to come all the way through, winding through this creek to find these boys. And I'm going to take you
was the
to
creek
where they were swimming.
So, I mean, I look at like the Mississippi right now. I live on the Mississippi. We're hundreds of miles from the ocean, but bear with me just to say that the Mississippi and how it is right now is not the way it was when it was even in 1916. It would have been much wider. It would have been I don't know about Matawan Creek though. I don't want to just assume, but we putting our locks and dams and channels and bridges and overpasses. We, especially with something as small as a creek, they can redirect that with an overpass quite easy.
This is the spot where the dock was, pretty much right in here where the kids were swimming. It's called the Wyckoff Docks. There's really nothing left. It was somewhere right in here, but you know, picture 105 some odd years ago. It was a very hot summer. It was during World War I. It was also during the polio epidemic.
I'd like to go kayak here, though. I'd love to. Good morning, Answers in Atheism. Go check out Answers in Atheism if you haven't.
A sea captain named Thomas Cantrell reported seeing a shark in this very creek, estimated to be 8 to 9 feet long, and his sightings were dismissed. They thought that was crazy. We're so far inland. How could that possibly be? It was not long after that 11-year-old Lester Stillwell and a few of his friends were swimming off the Wyckoff docks here. When they saw something in the water, they assumed it was a floating log, or maybe a piece of trash, something in the water. And right then they saw a dorsal fin appear, and they knew that it was probably a shark. Lester Stillwell was pulled underwater.
I'm just so distracted by all these dead fish. That's not even funny. It's like, Jesus. Where's the wildlife management team looking into this?
The other kids managed to get out. They ran to the town. Now, one of those people who showed up to help the boys out was a man named Watson Fisher. He was 24 years old. He was the one who actually got into the water, swam around, and actually did find young Lester's body, was pulling the body to shore when he too was attacked by that shark.
There was something up with this shark, right? Because it doesn't stop here.
He was alive. He was brought to the hospital. Unfortunately, though, he bled to death in the hospital.
That's almost always what happens when a shark attacks a human, because we're not really like the type of food that they want, right? We're not their normal type of target. This shark, I don't know if it was lost up in here and it was starving, but yeah.
Young Lester's body was lost again, and then somewhere not too far from here, maybe within a half a mile, another kid named Joseph Dunn, a 14-year-old boy named Joseph Dunn, was also swimming with his friends. Obviously didn't know about any of this going on, and he too was attacked. However, he managed to escape the shark by the help of his friend and his brother.
They played tug of war with him and got him out of the shark's jaws.
Who actually reported to have basically a tug of war battle with the shark, and they were able to pull him to safety, and he survived.
Yeah, I do agree. Poor Lester, because Lester was, after Stanley Watson lost the body when he got attacked, the shark took it back upstream. They took the body back upstream about 150 yards. It's crazy.
So unfortunately, Lester's body went missing for another 2 days. It was recovered not too far away. You can follow my hand, follow the creek all the way down to that train bridge. There was an original train bridge. The pilings are left, and I'm going to show you that's where his body was recovered. All right, I wanted to pop in here real quick. It's a couple days later, and I came during absolute low tide. This is as low as it gets, and boy, does it look different. Look at this. This is all docks.
No.
All this was underwater when I was here last time, but you can
the Wyckoff docks.
You can see the boards. Look at that. So I don't know exactly where the boys were all swimming, but it was right in here. I don't know
I like looking at old docks and old wooden structures from back in old barns and things that were built in that time, back before they standardized all the board dimensions. It's so cool to see a little bit of a difference. Yeah, maybe it was a cocaine shark, you think? Well, we're in Jersey, so there's got to be. Yeah. Don't they test for drugs by checking the water for trace amounts of cocaine?
To the exact area on the dock where they were, but the docks, I guess the Wyckoff docks went all the way down. And by the way, some of you may have noticed a bunch of dead fish in the background. I looked it up, and there's some virus, or there's a bacteria that the fish have. And it's not just New Jersey, it's in Connecticut, New York, it's Rhode Island. I'm guessing it has to do with states that touch the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
So that's at least clears up that mystery. Okay, back to the regular video. This is now where the hysteria starts, and the interesting comparisons between the book or the movie Jaws and the searching, the hunting for the shark. I'm going to explain all that down there at those old pilings. So Stanley Fisher was taken to the hospital, like I said. Unfortunately, he bled to death. But Lester Stillwell's body, 11-year-old Lester, was still missing. That body was basically let go by Stanley
Dragged
Fisher.
all the way back upstream.
So the search was on for the man-eating shark and for Lester Stillwell's body somewhere in this creek.
That's
So
super
not far
sad,
down.
right? Poor Lester. Just going swimming because it was hot. It's hot like it is right now. You know, I'd jump in the creek right now too if I was a 11-year-old.
From where I just was at the old Wyckoff docks. Just loops around here, or just curves around here. And this is the original train bridge here. This is all that's left, just these pilings that they actually do go across, but the high tide is coming in now, so you can't see as many. There's a lot of them. Now it's right here where Lester Stillwell's body was recovered 2 days after the attack. And during that search, and certainly after his body was found, that is when the mass hysteria started. Rumors of big sharks, rumors of people being attacked or shark encounters, people telling stories, even to the point where people were prowling this creek. And
It became like like any typical cryptozoology response that people have. Any time an animal is reported, especially one that's attacked people, right? One that's attacked children. Oh my. Yeah, so they have to go into this panic mode where all the gun-toting people are out in their boats prowling up and down the creek and along the shores, and people aren't swimming, aren't going in the water, and yeah.
into the ocean itself all along the East Coast with guns, even dynamite. You see that even in the movie Jaws. In fact, if you know that movie well, you will remember
do.
the scene when Chief Brody and young Hooper are talking to the mayor, trying to convince him that he needs to close the beach, that there is a killer shark. And they even mention this, the Jersey Beach, 1916, 5 people chewed up.
Feed here as long as there is food in the water. And there's no limit to what he's going to do. I mean, we've already had 3 incidents. 2 people killed inside of a week, and it's going to happen again. It happened before. The Jersey Beach, 1916, 5 people chewed up in the surf. In 1 week. Tell them about the swimmers.
It wasn't really a beach. Well, in half of the cases weren't really a beach, but it's very interesting that they mentioned that.
Well, I mean, yeah, the first 2 attacks, the ones that they're probably leaning more on, were on more of a beach location.
So, there are amazing pictures that you can see online that I will show you right now of people along the shore here with shotguns and boats with shotguns hunting for these sharks. Nobody was swimming. Beach tourism that year was down the tubes. Who wanted to go in the water? In fact, even in some areas, sunbathing was estimated to be down 70%. I believe that the mayor of Matawan, New Jersey offered $100 if anybody could.
I would say sunbathing would be down because a lot of people would come to sunbathe and bring their kids to play in the water.
Capture or kill a shark in this creek, equivalent to about $2,500 today. So a lot of people were out hunting, but unfortunately no shark was ever found in this creek. Lots of people caught big blue sharks and sand sharks, tiger sharks. Ultimately, hundreds of sharks were hunted and killed up and down the East Coast. Now, just 2 days after.
Now, both tiger sharks and bull sharks can live in brackish water for a certain amount of time. But great white sharks generally don't. But we're going to talk more in detail about that in just a minute.
After the maulings happened here, a man caught a great white not far from here in Raritan Bay. Now, what made that shark much different than the other sharks that were caught was when they cut open the stomach of that shark, they found what they reported to be 15 pounds of human flesh and bones. It may not have been the shark that came all the way upstream here, but being that it was very close by, just a few miles away, and there's a good chance that it could have been. A lot of people think that it was two different sharks, one down in South Jersey and another one here. There's no way of knowing anyway. There's no proof that it was either a bull shark or a great white. There's enough salinity in this creek that it's been proven or it been said that a great white could survive in this water, at least for a certain period of time. Some people think the shark came in with the tide and it was only in here for those few hours and rode the tide back out. Who knows?
I don't know.
So
I don't know why. I honestly don't know why a great white is even consideration in these attacks. It's because they sound like a bull shark. It all sounds like a bull shark to me.
Away from where I just was is the Rose Hill Cemetery, and this is where.
Yeah, most sharks don't want anything to do with eating us. They don't want humans. Yuck. We're bony and we don't have enough fat to sustain them. But bull sharks are opportunists, so they'll come in and they just want a mouthful and they'll leave. Unfortunately.
Stanley Fisher and Leonard Stillwell are buried. So, doing my best Lamont at large impression, I'm going to show you their graves just real quick. This is the Fisher family here, and obviously he had some family members that have also passed away. And someone was nice enough to leave a pretty cool little stone.
Braver than you believe.
It says, "You're braver than you believe."
Dude jumped in the water with a shark to save a little boy. I don't even know if he really knew the boy. So yeah, this dude was like a badass. Unfortunately, it cost him his life. But yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do?
And pretty obviously, this was his mother and father's grave, right in front here. And of course, I needed to show you Lester Stillwell's grave. It's pretty much always has toys around it. It's always interesting, these people, the young kids, when they die. Even in this case, over 100 years ago, there's people that still care enough to bring things out for him.
Well, he's kind of famous.
It actually looks like his whole family's here. I believe he had two brothers, Harry and Russell. One was born in 1898 and one was born in 1899, and they both died in the 1950s. I believe these are his parents, Luella and William. They died in the 1940s. Now the weird thing about that is, I just noticed this. So they died in 46 and 44. Harry Stillwell was in World War II, which you can see from this plaque, and it looks as though he made it out of World War II, made it out alive, only to die in 1952.
Yeah, that sucks.
So it looks like by the 1950s, the Stillwell family, at least this Stillwell family, was gone. But they all were alive to see the death of young Lester Stillwell. Sad story.
It's a cool looking graveyard though. I wonder
Back
how
here
often
at
the mural's maintained.
Shark mural, where I started this video. The other two people that were killed, Charles Bruder and Charles Van Sant or Vincent, I don't know where they're buried. They're not buried here. I just wanted to show you the two that died in the Matawan Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were wondering what happened to that shark, the one that was caught in the Raritan Bay cut open, and the human remains were said to have been found in there. I believe the person who caught the shark had it stuffed or mounted, and it was on display in Manhattan at a store, and it disappeared. Nobody knows what happened.
That's what happens with taxidermies sometimes.
And, you know, eventually people went back to swimming here, and obviously went back to swimming in the ocean. But I'm sure in many places, especially here, that man-eating shark was probably always on their mind in some way. You know, when a fish brushed their leg or a log floated by, I'm sure it was in the back of their mind. Maybe it will be in the back of your mind next time you're swimming. Stay safe out there, because
among the dead fish,
that could happen again. Hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. This is, he's like a travel guy, but interesting. The mystery really is, and it comes down to what species of shark it was, but great whites do get into these salt ponds, as we'll learn.
Have you ever heard of a great white shark swimming in a pond?
I'll be right back.
This is Kevin McMurray with TrackingSharks.com, and today we're looking at a white shark that got stuck in a lagoon. Our shark pond story starts all the way back in September of 2004. Tuck Haishi, his girlfriend, and a friend, Drew Kalila, were in search of false albacore when they approached a private island owned by the Forbes family. The group headed to the small lagoon off Nashwoon Island, approaching a small bridge with 8 people standing on it. It was odd to see that many people on the bridge during the middle of the day, and the group assumed that they were just rich people having a cocktail party. Tuck saw birds diving in the water on the other side of the bridge and assumed they were after the same fish he was looking for. He and his friends approached the bridge in the 16-foot skiff. One guy was hanging a fishing line over the bridge, ostensibly to discourage me from going through, he told the Cape Cod Wave in 2014. The line didn't stop Tuck, and the bridge angler moved the fishing line without saying a word as the skiff slid under the bridge. After making it to the other side of the bridge, Tuck spotted a 4-foot fin popping out above the water. His first thought was a large basking shark was swimming around. As he headed toward the fish, his brain struggled to piece together what he was seeing. Quote, I thought it was 2 sharks. The fins were 7, 8 feet apart. I was looking at a dorsal fin almost 3 feet tall and a tail fin almost 4 feet long. I was seeing it thrash in the shallows, and you could tell it was one fish, and you could also tell it had some length to it, end quote. As he moved his skiff closer to the fish, he guessed it was a white shark nearly as long as his 16-foot boat. Just like in the movie Jaws, the shark swam right toward the side of the boat, and just before smashing into it, descended underneath and popped up on the other side. No one in the boat was scared. Instead, they were awestruck and curious as to what species of shark it actually was. At the time, the thought of seeing a great white shark in person was a true rarity. After several hours, the crew went home, and they all started calling friends, telling them about the day's experience. Tuck called several people, one of whom explained how to identify a white shark compared to a basking shark. The news confirmed what Tuck already knew. It was a great white shark in the pond. He then got in touch with videographer Adam Lazarus to see if he wanted to go out the next day and film the shark. Tuck, Lazarus, and Coella met at 5 a.m.
Look how massive that sucker is. Look at that. Oh, wow.
Lazarus wanted to film the shark, while Tuck wanted to catch it. According to Tuck, he really had no plan on catching the shark, and said he knew that he couldn't land the massive fish. However, Lazarus said his friend absolutely planned on landing the fish and was going to donate the meat to feed the homeless. The federal government protected white sharks in 1997, which explains the difference in the recollections.
Yeah,
as they approached the area where the shark was spotted the day before, Lazarus was enjoying the view as his boatmates were scouring the water looking for the shark. Then the mood quickly changed in the boat. They both are saying, there it is. I'm looking through my camera. I'm also trying to look at real life. It's not the same as looking through a camera. All of a sudden, maybe 50 yards away, comes up a really big fin. It takes my breath away. The fins were so big, and there was such a length of distance between them.
Look how huge it is.
This is exactly what I've been scared of. I'm like, fuck. I start to hear it. It's just pushing water out of the way. I started to film this, and I look, Lazarus said, adding, if I'm going to die, I don't want to be looking through a viewfinder.
Great white sharks are
The shark swam
chonkers.
straight toward the boat, and then submerged just before hitting it. Lazarus said it was the scariest moment of his life.
That's like, so tiger sharks get huge too. Tiger sharks get as long, or pretty much as long. I think tiger sharks get about 18 feet, and great whites can get up to 20, some estimates 21 feet. But tiger sharks are nowhere near as bulky as a great white shark, though. They're not to downplay the mass of a tiger shark, but that just goes to show how truly massive great whites are. I don't think a bull shark would be quite spending so much time towards at the surface like this. Bull sharks are sneaky.
Was as big, if not bigger than the boat. He said, "It made me feel small out there bobbing up and down like an idiot." Lazarus said he could tell that Tuck wanted to hook the shark, and he wanted no part of it, insisting that he be dropped off on a rock so that he could be out of harm's way. As they dropped off Lazarus, another onlooker standing on the rocks took his seat on the boat, and they headed into the water as Lazarus filmed from a rock. Tuck cast his line, and after
Fast
several
it's
tries, he
going
eventually hooked the
too.
shark.
Look at that.
Unfortunately, the hook caught the shark's fin. Accounts vary, but the shark was hooked anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. "I look back on it now," said Coella, "knowing we only had about 6 inches of clearance between the edge of his boat and the waterline. What were we thinking? We were out there calling a great white shark, and we lived to tell about it." Earlier that same morning, Greg Scommel of the
Idiots.
Massachusetts Marine Fisheries Division was loading
I'm
his
just
boat.
gonna say
He'd received
about the people trying to catch the shark, you're idiots and kind of jerks too. Yeah, just throwing that out there because leave large sharks alone.
a call the previous day about the supposed white shark being spotted, and at first thought it was just another fishtail. Again, great white sharks were a rare sighting. At the time, the state of the white shark's population was unknown, and the only white sharks Scommel would see were dead.
See how it can't
The
get
sharks
out
were
to the
unfortunate
sea
bycatches
there.
retrieved after becoming tangled in fishermen's nets. Scommel boated out to Falmouth Harbor, where he met up with a friend who had a low-draft boat that could navigate the shallow salt pond waters. He brought fishing gear in case there was no shark, so the day wouldn't be completely wasted. Upon arriving to the scene, Scommel's eyes dilated. "I knew immediately it was a great white shark," he recalled. "I was almost in shock. A great white shark in this little lagoon." Greg was able to obtain a GPS tag and pin it on the shark's dorsal fin, making it the first GPS tag shark in the eastern United States. He had rushed to get the tag, thinking the shark would exit the pond at any moment.
Yep, see the
Each high
tag
tide
on
and
its
full moon
back
brought
there.
hope that the shark would head out. The news of the shark spread quickly, and before long, people were everywhere trying to catch a glimpse of the massive fish swimming in the salt pond. Some curiosity seekers were approaching the area in dinghies and kayaks, far smaller than the shark. Charter boat companies began ferrying hundreds of paying customers to see the shark, charging $100 a trip to $100 an hour to see the shark. Aerosmith guitarist Joe Perry chartered a boat with his family to witness the spectacle, along with visitors coming all the way from Canada. Scommel knew this was going to get worse, and with a call to the state game commission, the state quickly passed a regulation to protect the 13-foot
That's
shark.
cool, majestic
Officials enforced a
feedback.
control zone to keep people away from the shark and place signs around the area warning people not to harass the fish.
14 feet
This way the shark
long.
spread across-
I don't know if you all understand how. Well, I shouldn't. I'm like patronizing you. 14 feet is absolutely ginormous. I mean, 14 feet is as long as the hive is this way. Oh my gosh! And then the bulk of it—it's bigger around than your average barrel.
across the globe, and everyone involved was inundated with calls from the media. People were so enthralled with the story that they started calling the shark Gretel. 13 days later, Gretel was still in the pond, and Scommel was at a loss for how to get it out of the tiny pond. The stress was palatable, and Greg was suffering from sleepless nights and threats from people demanding the shark be saved. Scommel was all for saving the shark. The question was how? How do you make a big shark leave a tiny pond? Fishing lines were immediately rolled out. Along with lassoing the tail, the last resort would be to sedate the shark, which could be fatal for it. Bait bags full of fish burley didn't work either. The shark just would not go for it and aimlessly circled the pond. Thankfully, Daniel McKieran, assistant director of the division,
What you need to do is get a seal and put it in a little shark cage and drop that down. Maybe that'll help.
fisheries came up with an idea of using large fishing nets called weirs. The fishing weir consisted of nets moved by several different boaters. As the shark hit the net, it would just bounce off. As the shark neared the exit, the team used pumps to spray water at the shark, corralling it toward the exit. The water jets and nets worked, and the shark finally slipped across some shallow rocks and off to freedom for a moment. The shark went around the island and into the shallow Lackey's Bay. Back to the pumps. The team used the water pumps to guide the shark back out to sea, and there were high fives all the way around. Unfortunately for Scommel and the rest of the scientists interested in the tracking data, the tag got caught 45 minutes after the shark left.
Rescue
Everyone involved slept
sharks.
a little easier, knowing they'd helped rescue the salt pond shark. The event played
I
such a part
know.
in Scommel's life that he actually
Great
asked his
whites
wife
are
to marry him in the
adorable,
same location.
Tsunami. You want to boop them, don't you? A seal and a hamster ball. Yeah, they're cute. I like their little snoots. Great white sharks.
And that is the story of the white shark stuck in a pond, but it's not the first. In 1954, another white shark was caught in a salt pond 2 miles away. Unfortunately, it was killed. Gretel's salvation shows how much people's perceptions of white sharks have changed in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
What would you do if you ran across a white shark in a salt pond? Let us know in the comments. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe.
Swim
Comment
with
what
it.
you'd like us to cover next. Support us at patreon.com/trackingsharks. Give us the super things. Join us on Facebook, Twitter @trackingsharks, and visit us online at trackingsharks.com. Thank you, and as always, stay safe and get wet soon.
All right. You guys ready to dive into the locations? We are going to go on location to the different places associated with the Jersey Shore shark attacks. The first place that we have here is what's this, Beach Haven, right? Where's my marker at? One of my favorites. There we go. So there's a wildlife area down here. And I'm not really sure where along this little strand he was swimming. He was swimming with a dog though, so there's also, I mean, this is all water up in here too, so you got to keep that in mind. There's like a lagoon back here. There's the Great Bay, and then the second attack was further up, right here. It was a bellhop from this hotel. It's a condominium now, the Essex and Sussex. It was a hotel at the time, and he worked there. He was Swiss. He was out here swimming, and unfortunately, yeah, the shark got a hold of him. This could have been, yeah, it could have certainly been a great white, but I don't think that a bull shark's out of the question for the full slew of attacks. This little river here is called the Shark River. This one right here, Shark River. It's pretty wide up here, and yeah, it goes the creek, and it goes all the way back up inland, back up into here if you follow it. But it's called the Shark River. This area is called Shark River Hills. I don't know if they're leaning into the shark attacks or if those things had their names before, but there you have it. All right, and then lastly, let's go up here and look at good old Mattawan Creek and seeing how close together this is to that. I mean, maybe the same shark. It's Sandy Hook Bay. And then we have Mattawan Creek comes up right here. That's the headwater, and it comes all the way down under the highway, under the train bridges and pylons and stuff. And we get all the way down here, and that's where it opens up. But the man-eater mural's right here. I believe the Wyckoff docks that he was exploring. Yeah, there they are, right there. And so that's the mural, the docks, and the second attack was down further down here. The one that the kid survived. But yeah, these waters are pretty far down the way, and I mean, it doesn't matter what the channel looks like, there's still not a lot of room to wiggle in. So I'm still going with bull shark for this cryptid. I think that the Mattawan man-eater was a bull shark. I'm almost 100% sure on that. I don't think it was a great white, despite the fact that great whites can get stuck in salt ponds and things. I just don't see one traveling that far upstream. It just doesn't seem likely to me. It seems more likely and more realistic that a fish that can swim up a or that can thrive in brackish water, because keep in mind, bull sharks live in like rivers and lakes and stuff. There's a lake in Nicaragua that they just thrive in. There's lakes in Africa and rivers in Africa that they live alongside hippos and crocodiles. Bull sharks are all right in pretty much fresh water, at least for some time. So if you go to Mattawan Creek, remember Wendy's is right there. Sorry, I forgot took down the thing. It's so weird that it's like showing me where Wendy's is. It's like, also, if you go here, here's Wendy's. Like, I don't have any other indication that I'm looking for food or anything. Just looking for shark attacks. anyway, that was our cryptic corner for today. Pretty fun stuff. Man-eating sharks. Let me show you. Let me see here. I grew up with the culture that if an animal killed one human, then that animal should never ever show up in a human settlement again. Yeah, they track them down and hunt them. They hunt them down. Man-eaters. Do sharks do well with being netted? Don't they have to swim forever or die? Yeah, I mean they'd be suffocating the whole time they were in the net, right? Oh, I guess I should answer more questions. So what is cryptic about sharks? Well, this shark is we don't know what species it was. That's what's cryptic about it. There's a mystery about. Some people say it was a great white. Some people say it was a bull shark or tiger shark. There's a lot of this cryptic shark. Some mystery species. We don't know what it was. There was a shark caught that allegedly had some human flesh in its stomach. Was that the shark? We don't know. So that's why this made it into Cryptic Corner, the mystery. The bellboy needed last one eaten by the shark. Apply at Seafront Hotel next to Shark River. Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of irony there if that river was named before that. They hang out in mangroves here. Yes, bull sharks are. They'll just all of a sudden shoot out of the depth like a crocodile and grab you when you're up in the shallows. And it will. They're sneaky dudes. Exactly. Tiger problem in India is worse. Well, tigers evolved alongside humans to see us as a food source. So we're like their natural food, right? We're like their target demographic. We are on the menu. Same thing with like Nile crocodiles. They evolved in Africa alongside hominids. We are just food to them. Listen, the leopards and the tigers are justified chomping on the occasional person. They should maybe just try to go for Modi, not random people on the sig break at work. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to wrap up Cryptic Corner there. We are right at the top of the hour. So we kind of nailed our time slot, which is excellent. So kudos and cheers for everybody who is in the side chat here or watching this live at home. Or not watching, watching this live at home. There's nobody else here but me watching this. And for you guys, watching this on Friday night with my Cryptic Corner, I love you most of all. You are my special, special people that hang out and are into weird stuff like mystery sharks and all that goodness. All right. Please remember to be kind. Take care, and we will see you next time. All right, live from the Hive audience. Are you guys ready to move it right along to Creation Watch? Because I sure am. You guys will recognize this old standby this week. So, but something that I overlooked that I need to address. So we're going to be in for it. I'll see you guys over there. Evolutionary arms race. So that's where you get run into a lot of problems with people misunderstanding evolution, because they're like, oh, this animal hasn't changed for millions of years. It's because it's been and that's never true, by the way, but that's because it's been accustomed to that ecological niche for all that time, and it doesn't mean it hasn't been challenged for that. It means it came out on top every time. Sharks are a good example. They're well adapted for their environment. They aren't going anywhere, well, until now, so we started killing them and eating them, but or just killing them for fun. When there's an extinction event, that's when we get what we call, it's a punctuated equilibrium. Otherwise, you experience gradualism. But when the extinction event happens, whether it's disease-driven or natural disaster, whatever, all the life forms die out. It creates basically a niche vacuum where new forms of life get to try their hands at things that their ancestors weren't able to do before because of the competition. Animals move into these more specialized niches, though, makes them more susceptible to extinction events, or obviously we're in the middle of the Anthropocene right now, where we're the extinction event, and the specialized animals are the first ones going, especially the large ones. That's one of the most specialized niches you can be in, is a large browser or a large grazer. Especially large browsers, though, because they tend to be more of a K strategist in their reproductive methodology. Speaking of, would you guys like me to talk about R strategy and K strategy? I might be able to get some friends together and maybe do a little talk about that. Hello, my beauties and bees. It's time for Creation Watch, where we're going to explore some of that sweet young earth creationism today. So I hope you're here for it. All right. Thank you for joining me. I'm here with my live captive audience today over in Live from the Hive. So say hello to everybody out there watching this with me as we break this down. Now, I tend to try not to tread over the same ground over and over again and bore you guys with the same old content, right? But sometimes you have to. Sometimes you got to revisit the old standbys because they go and do something dumb. And I'm just gonna drop this right here. This is what we're talking about today. Oh gosh, I always forget how Kent Hovind does his screen where it's, hold on, I can fix it. What are we doing here? There we are. We're just gonna yoink him in. There you go. We'll just do him like that. All right. So if this doesn't startle you, I don't know what will. Are we looking at the Hovind sex tapes? No. Not today, anyway. But, I want to say, before I get too deep into this, thank you so much, Majestic P. Beck, for the $2. Really appreciate you. And I don't know if you're what the Beck. I have another friend named Beck too, so I don't know if you're the same person. But if you are, love. All right, adult content. Yeah, we got a warning for adult content from Dr. Dino on making babies. And today, I didn't even know that this slipped under the radar for me. Yeah, I'm as bad as Kent. Sure. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm not going to poke at that. I'm sad about that. When you think you can have when you reach across the aisle. Anyway, but I didn't even know that Kent had done a video on praying mantises. Fantastic. I jumped ahead 2 minutes because it's all like just Dinosaur Adventureland shilling and stuff before that. So let's go.
Okay, tonight's content on making babies with the praying mantis might have some adult content. Parents, you can judge where you want your kids to watch this or not, okay? We covered the anglerfish. How did that evolve? You atheists never answered any of the questions, not one.
In the dark. That's how anglerfish evolved. The absence of light does funny things to biology. Once you find a mate in such darkness, the tendency is probably to try to stay close to them, because who knows when you'll find another mate again in the endless shadow realm. So what the anglerfish does is it sticks so close to its mate that they start to merge together. It's kind of romantic if you think about it that way.
Come on now. Where is it? We talked about the tardigrade. Did anybody give any answers to that one? How did this evolve? Come on, guys. We talked about the frog. Hi, I'm a frog. My creator made me. If you think I evolved from nothing for no reason with no designer, you need to go back to school and learn some real science. Yeah. So we studied a few hundreds of ways frogs make babies. Some come out of their mouth, some come out of their back.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the ones that came out of the mouth, that species is actually extinct now, and that's unfortunate, right? Because they're the only tetrapod that we know that did that. It gave birth out of its mouth. Oh, this weird frog in Australia. But I think they're extinct now. And yeah, there's the ones that have the babies that pop out of their back. The clawed frogs, African clawed frogs, are super weird. We can do all kinds of cool experiments with them because their skin's so permeable.
I'd like to know how it evolved, guys. That's all. Then we did the frog. Okay, the honeybee. How did that evolve?
Responded to your honeybee video.
The virgin drone and the virgin queen flying around, does he know if he goes and mates with her, it's going to kill him? Does he know? It does. It kills him. Nobody warns them because they all die. No, can't tell the next generation. How did that evolve? Must be pretty strong pheromone she's putting off or something, some kind of perfume. I don't know.
It's because you can't think of any organism that doesn't have a brain as advanced as yours. The bee doesn't care. Death doesn't exist to the individual bee. It's not even a thing that occurs to it. It doesn't have the brain capacity for death to occur to it. It's got its simple instructions in its little between its little bee eyes that tell it to defend its hive, that tell it to propagate its seed, that tell it to collect food for its young. That's it. Stop personifying them so much, and this stuff will make a little bit more sense to you, Kent.
What? How did it evolve, guys? Come on. Hi, I'm a watermelon. You guys never answered the question. That seed contains the information to build a whole vine with thousands of more seeds. How did it evolve? Starfish, nobody answered that one. Tonight, the praying mantis. My creator made me. If you've been taught I evolved from nothing for no reason with no designer, you need to go back to school, get your...
Does he think this photoshopped image of the mantis on the left with the dog mouth is real? I wonder.
Money back, I agree. Tonight, how praying mantis make babies. Please subscribe to our channel, tell others about us, join our 777 club, help us to open for free. Go to drdino.com, say I like what they're doing, I'm going to send $1 a day if you can. to Creation Science Evangelism. That's our ministry, CSE. Okay. We think God ought to get the glory for his creation. We are straight north of Pensacola, 70 miles, and Genesis Baptist Church, and church camp, and science center, and museum. If you can sing or stop by and share your testimony, please do. We have a bunch of tours today. Visitors from, where was that one family from? It was another foreign country, wasn't it? Oh, China. Yeah, had a bunch of people from China came through.
Oh boy.
Been in America for a while. Just struggling to learn our crazy language. Yeah, let's see. Real tour, the safari tour. I love giving that one. The science center tour, the farm tour. Isaiah, you going to get all the side-by-sides running again?
Working on it.
Okay, good. You can handle it. Okay, good. Bring your youth group, men's group, women's group. I hate to call it a retreat. We should not be retreating. We should be advancing. Anyway, okay. Come see our science center with all kinds of cool experiments. Take the real tour. Get our video series for Christmas if you want to get 3.
See, I told you that I skipped 2 minutes into the video because there was all this advertisements. I didn't realize. I watched it through before, but I was kind of like watching it while I was editing. Didn't realize that after how many? After 2 more minutes, it was going to go back into advertising. Sorry, guys.
Free for $100. Use them as gifts to people. This will change their lives. We've had tens of thousands get saved watching these crazy DVDs. Whole series $50, but get 2, get a 3rd one free, and give them out to everybody you know. And we have a series of special messages on other topics besides creation. Let's see, how to make money. What about
Ring, are you sure about the gastric brooding frogs being found and alive and well? I hope so. That'd be so cool. You can drop a link to it if that's something that did happen. I would love to read about it.
Leviathan, the fire-breathing dragon. Let's start a fire department. Evidence for evolution debunked. Okay. Let's see. The Bible and health. School ideas, different ideas how to teach. Okay. Where's the bride? I like that message. Public school and my magic tricks video. We got to give that young man right there, Matt, give him one, would you? The magic tricks video. I showed him how to do a bunch of magic tricks. Give him the magic tricks video.
Give him the magic tricks video. Kent Hovind's magic tricks video. If there's somebody out there who has a copy of Kent Hovind's magic tricks videos that they want to share with the Hive, that would be fantastic. Let me know.
Show him how to do it. He will love it. There you go. Get our video series and book on what on earth is about to happen, about the future. I like to collect various ways plants and animals.
He says that he's talking about his own prophecies. These are the Hovind prophecies that he's mentioning. He's got a little map and everything about. It's behind him. You can see it. Lean into it, Hovind. You're a freaking prophetic cult leader. Why are you not calling yourself what you're trying to be? Are you afraid of the repercussions of being a false prophet?
Mark, is Mark here? Right here. Mark, you're the one suggested I do the praying mantis. Thank you, brother. This one is stunning.
I should have started here, I guess.
Mantis. How they make babies. Since you evolutionists believe the mantis slowly evolved from a protozoa over millions of years with no designer and no reason, please give a scientific explanation for each of the major steps involved when the mantis makes babies. If you cannot, will you please admit that you believe it evolved rather than you know it evolved? Fair enough? What's unfair about that? You don't know. Just say, okay, we don't know. We believe it. Good. It's a religion. I've been saying that.
But we have like the fossilized predatory cockroaches that were the ancestors of mantises. We know that mantises and cockroaches share a common ancestor, and they're the dicterians, disecterians, and they did leave a fossil record for us to understand. There's look at predatory cockroaches of the Mesozoic. They were a prominent clade.
Praying mantis making babies. Can you get it up on screen for the people here to see, or no? Okay. You don't get to see it tonight. You have to watch it on YouTube. Praying mantis making babies. There are 2,400 different kinds of praying mantis. They might have had a common ancestor. Praying mantis. Yeah.
What about the ones that are more cockroach-like? Because we still have cockroach-like mantises. Look up terrestrial or ground mantises. They kind of lay a cross between a cockroach and a praying mantis because they're closely related. Again, we have their common ancestor in the fossil record. It's pretty. This isn't speculative stuff, my friend.
Let's see. They live in the tropical and temperate parts of the world, have a very complex body and very complicated way of making babies, okay? If you have praying mantises in your garden, yay. People buy the eggs to put in their garden so they can get them because they kill all the other insects.
Yeah, they buy invasive ones too. They buy Chinese mantises and release them into their gardens. That's why we have naturalized Chinese mantises in North America, and usually if you're in an urban setting and you find mantises in your yard, they're Chinese mantises. Carolina mantises are going to be more finding them in rural areas, just in general.
They only live 4 to 6 months. Some only live 4 to 8 weeks. They're born, grow up, get married, have babies, like an egg sac. They die. The eggs stay all winter and hatch out the next year. And make a new batch of praying mantises. So the new mantises don't have mommy or daddy to teach them anything. But they know how to do whatever mantises do. How do they know that? Who taught them? There's a praying mantis.
Because again, it's because you can't think of anything more complex or simple, for that matter, than a human brain. They don't require all the other stuff. Just the information to follow their biological paths to propagate. The ones that didn't do that don't make it. So that's how they know how to do it. You just throw everything on the wall and see what sticks, so to speak. But it's just a reproductive strategy. It's common in turtles do it. Crocodiles and alligators do it. You don't have to have a parent to teach you how to do stuff. Not every species has as complex social structures as we do. Now, interesting thing about mantises is they're more on the solitary end of things, to the point where they can't be around each other. Where when you move more towards cockroaches, they get more and more communal, until on the opposite end of this family, you find termites, which are like eusocial. They're some of the most communal insects in the world. So you got the whole spectrum within this clade that we can see every step along the way, from solitary hunter to social, what do you call them, agriculturalist, I guess.
They have incredibly complex eye, including 3 eyes in the middle of their head and 1 on each side. Like my wife said, that was so brilliant. They don't even know what they look like. They can't see themselves. How do they know to find the right mate? That's brilliant. Praying mantis, there are some just stunning praying mantises. The colors, there's the one that looks like a flower.
Orchid mantis.
Blends right in, looks like a flower. And they don't go hunting for their prey. They sit real still, the bug comes around, and they're lightning fast to grab that bug. And they got little hooks under their arm to grab them, and they can't get out. Once they get you, you're done. They even get hummingbirds and lizards, big ones, and eat them. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Snakes
Fascinating
too.
facts about praying mantis. Most of them live in the tropics. Over 2,000 species of mantis. Mantis we see most often in the U.S. are exotic species. The China mantis is one of the most common. Brought into Philadelphia about 80.
The China mantis. He's like Trump that way. The China mantis. It's the Chinese mantis. Tenodera. Yeah.
Years ago. Let's see. Yes, female mantises do eat their mates. Praying mantis, the male mantis does not always survive.
Depends. It really does depend on the species, and some species are certainly more prone to cannibalizing their mates than others.
Mating season. Between 13 and 28% of the mating encounters end with sexual cannibalism, in which the female praying mantis bites off the head and eats him. 2016 study, researchers found females cannibalized their male partner, produced significantly more eggs than those that did not. suggesting that their cannibalistic behavior may increase the chance of reproductive success.
Yeah, having a good meal after reproducing to make sure that all the nutrients that your baby gets gets the most nutrient packed developmental juices, so to speak, as the eggs develop. Absolutely, that makes sense.
If he sneaks up behind her, he's just a little off his grip. The female might bite his head off and dine on her brainless suitor as he continues to pass sperm into her body. A bunch of guys eating breakfast over there this morning, I showed them the stuff I'd found about, she bites his head off and he keeps going to make babies. And they said, we all knew that. It doesn't take a brain, you know. Keep going on. Let's see. He continues.
So yeah, I'm not surprised that a lot of people know this. It's kind of what praying mantises are famous for. There's memes about it and cartoons about it. So it's not like surprising that people are aware of that this goes on.
Used to pass sperm into her body. Sometimes the impetuous female partially eats the male before he even mounts her. In this case, the headless wonder swings his legs around until his body touches hers, climbs onto her back, and copulates as though nothing were amiss. Headless sex, you can Google it. Copulatory movements in mantids are controlled by masses of nerve tissue in the abdomen rather than the brain. Two different brains. Males of some mantis species...
No, it's not two different brains. Where did you read that? Where did you read that there are two different brains? It's nerve twitching, going through their functions. Humans do that too. You have nerves that'll twitch in your body after you die. It's kind of creepy.
Mate more effectively when they're decapitated. I'm serious, okay? A nerve center of the male's head inhibits mating, makes him scared of her. Once that's gone, he ain't scared no more. Until the female is clasped. If this nerve is removed, such as when the female bites off his head, all control is lost and the result is repeated copulation. People living in the Middle Ages believe the mantis spent most of their lives praying to God. That's why they call them the praying mantis, okay? And some Muslims insist that mantis always pray with their heads facing Mecca.
I will absolutely disagree with that. I have mantises behind me right now facing every direction you can think of. Unlike the spiders, it's weird that tarantulas all tend, I've noticed that my vivariums, all the tarantulas will be facing the same way. I don't know what that's about, but the mantises go all willy-nilly.
Right. Mantis is a Greek word meaning prophet or clairvoyant. So, my first question, how does the male mantis know to look for a female mantis? He doesn't know what he looks like. How does he know what his mate should look like?
So he's confused about how any animal looks for a mate. How do you look for a mate? Good grief! You're attracted to something. Did somebody draw a picture of what a woman looks like that you're like, oh, this is an attractive woman? You're attracted to what you're attracted to. You see people and you're like, oh, that person's attractive. The mantis is the same way. They have neurological triggers.
Did this evolve? I'd like some real science, please. No dodging and no, oh, look at the squirrel. How does he know which one's his mate? Huh? Praying mantis.
He looks for something that looks like what his brain says that he needs to be mating with. I'm not sure how you're confused here.
Mating and cannibalism. There's an article on thought.com. Well, somebody sent me this one. The female praying mantis devours the male within minutes after mating. With the human female, prefers to stretch it out over a lifetime. Did you send me that?
Take my wife, please. That's the level of comedy that we're getting. We're going harkening back to boomer comedy.
Randall.
Mantises are always the answer, Aunt Jer.
Okay. The female praying mantis, known for cannibalistic behavior, biting off the head or legs of her mate and eating them. This behavior occurs in less than 30% of all mating sessions in the wild and may have evolutionary advantages for the praying mantis species, not for the male. They got to throw in the word evolution. They got to give glory to evolution, or it won't get peer reviewed and published. Yeah, we understand. Okay. Evolutionary explanations.
That's literally the science is understanding how having this feature is an advantage compared to not having that feature. That's how we study evolution, my friend.
Same article here. There are interesting evolutionary advantages to this behavior. Oh, the male praying mantis brain located in the head controls inhibition. The ganglion of in the abdomen controls the motions of copulation. Without his head, the male mantis will lose his inhibitions and continue mating, which means he can fertilize more of the eggs. Oh, okay. So, second question, guys.
The ganglia is repeating its function. It's just going through its motion. Without a brain, it doesn't need a brain. Just like your body can sit there and twitch after your head's been cut off. Chickens can live without a brain or without their head too. I don't know if you were aware of that, Kent. We got to talk about that sometime soon too. The headless chicken. Since mating is often fatal for the male mantis, what drives him to even want to mate? What drives a human to want to mate? What drives any species
is often
to
fatal
want to
for the
mate?
male. What drives him to even want to mate? Why would he want to?
To
praying
reproduce.
mantis inflates a strange pheromone gland to lure mates. The female mantis has a little inflatable gland that comes out and puts off a pheromone, and he smells it and goes nuts. How did that evolve? And how did they do it before it evolved? What happened there? Did this
not all species of mantises have that gland, or at least not one that's of that shape and in size. A lot of them just have a little flap that opens up. Different things for different functions. But they've evolved different ways to do it. How did they? You just said they all had the same common ancestor. So how is one mantis group that doesn't have that, or has a different shaped one, or has a different signaling method? How did those evolve, Kent? You claim that all these mantises have a common ancestor, but you can't explain the things that have evolved differently between the different clades of mantises. Because some of them don't eat their mate. Some of them can live communally. I have ghost mantises that live in groups. Not all of them are cannibals.
Gland evolved by chance? I would like a scientific answer. Tell me how this happened. Step by step. I mean, go from no gland at all to a gland that works and puts off a pheromone that attracts the male. Does she?
You accept that, though. You just said earlier that you accept that all mantises had a common ancestor called a mantis. Okay. Some of those mantises have that gland and some of them don't. So you've already accepted that the evolution of that gland.
You know what he likes to smell? Come on, guys, give an answer. Please, hello, answer me. Number 4. Why would they want to make more babies? All that does is increase competition for the food supply. But it seems like all the animals and plants want to make more babies.
Because the ones who don't want to make babies don't pass on genes. Only animals with the drive to make babies made babies. So what makes them want to make babies? They had the drive to make babies, so they made babies, and they're the ones who passed on their ancestry, or passed on their genetics to their the descendants.
They don't ever want to just live forever. All you're doing is increasing competition. See, I'd like an answer, guys. How did this evolve? And you're going to say, well, they can't live forever, so it had to. That's not a scientific answer. Come on. Give me a step-by-step. How did this evolve? Okay, number 5. Did the male evolve first or the female? Where's the evidence for which one evolved first?
So male and female there were already males and females way before mantises. That precedes insects in general. Arthropods in general already had males and females. I think you're confused about how this works. The species that evolved into mantises were already divided in male and female in the reproductive strategy.
And is there scientific evidence that both evolved at the same time, in the same place, and were able to find each other?
This is like Ray Comfort right here. Remember, like, how does the dog? It has to wait millions of years to evolve eyes so it can find the female dog.
See, just the equipment to make babies is pretty complicated. You also got to have the drive to make babies, which is pretty complicated. How did this come about, Steph?
Yeah, but anybody without the drive to make babies didn't. So only the ones that did, no matter how complicated it was, only those ones passed on their genes. So those are the only survivors. No matter how rare they were, if they're the only ones that passed on their genes, then they're the only ones that passed on their genes. Oh my gosh. This is like the level of incredulity that it's unprecedented.
Step by step, by chance. Answer, please, okay? This guy said, our study indicates there's much more to the mantis strike than originally thought. The mantis can transform the visual image of prey approaching, so if a fly is coming into his range, into a precisely timed motor program to catch it. He has to watch the thing come, precisely time everything, thrust his arms out to grab it. I mean, flies are pretty quick. You try to catch one. Yeah. Okay. Even more surprisingly, mantises are monitoring their prey throughout the attack, as indicated by the fact that they can pause their attack. So they can start to attack and realize, oh, I can't do it. He's not close enough, or he moved, or something went wrong.
Yeah.
Let's see. In the worst case...
So most of this is just going to be incredulity. It's just going to be like, I don't understand how this works.
Supposedly, when they start attacking too late, we show they can even give up and abandon the strike. The fact that their nervous system can do these calculations and detect its own mistake is quite remarkable, especially given how fast the attacks are, usually a tenth of a second. 1/10 of a second. He sees the fly and gone. And the little hooks on the arm to grab the fly. Can't get away. Is there a scientific evidence you guys can offer for how the mantis evolved this complex nervous system and his brain to keep going? Can you explain that, please?
Even a baby, like a human baby, right? You already have the sucking motion. Like you understand this, or you accept? Are you saying that God teaches babies how to suck on a nipple? Because that's the same level of incredulity. How did you learn how to use your muscles? That's what you're asking. How did you learn how to use your body and the way that it was evolved to move?
And their eyes, they triangulate to calculate the distance, like you can do. You can say that's further, that's closer.
They more than triangulate, they pentangulate because they have 5 eyes.
Closer, because you have 2 eyes, and you can tell your eyes are pulling in as something gets closer. And your brain feels that, because since the eyeball's not perfectly round, the bump on the back.
They have 5 eyes, not 2. They have ocelli too. So they're whole, and then they have their antenna as well. So they're packed down with sensory perception. So they're really good at triangulating.
Pushes on nerves. You say, oh no, I'm going cross-eyed. This thing's getting closer. And you can calculate distance, called triangulation. The mantis does that. How did that evolve? I mean, step by step. Not just, it's here, oh, look at the squirrel. Come on. How did it happen? There's a purple praying mantis, one that looks like a big flower. This is they're just, and
that's not even a praying, that's not even a praying mantis. That's a mantis. Hold on, this is a praying mantis, but.
Big flower.
That is a mantis shrimp. That's a completely different clade, dude. And the fact that you can't tell them from a praying mantis tells me a lot about your incredulity. Oh my. Oh my.
This is they're just and 2,400 varieties of mantis. I wish you guys could see these here. You'll have to watch the video. It'll blow your mind. Stunning. Alien-looking mantises have a pair of fierce, grasping legs that allow them to catch their prey. Long legs that allow them to lunge, and a triangular head that twists 180 degrees. They may see all around them. They can sit perfectly still and turn their head all the way and look backwards.
You're like an owl.
Rubbernecking. The praying mantis is the only insect that can look over its shoulder. They wait motionless and use camouflage to help them catch unsuspecting insects. Some tropical species can mimic a beautiful orchid flower, leaves, or twigs. Does he know he looks like a leaf?
No, their nervous system
they can
tells
actually
them
change
to stand
their
still.
color to match their surroundings over a period of days. If they happen to land on a particular plant and like it there, they can decide to start to look like that plant. Can you decide?
Well, decide. decide. Oh my. No, they don't decide. They molt and their colors change, and it helps them better match with their environment as they grow. It's so weird that you use the term decide to match their environment or decide to camouflage themselves. It's so you misunderstand that the whole nature of Batesian selection, right?
Start to look like the carpet on your house because you want to blend in. Question number 8 for you atheists. Do you ever wish your handlers would let you publish papers saying how amazingly designed it is? You're not allowed to do that. You have to give glory to evolution. I know your handlers won't let you publish it unless it gives glory to their religion and your religion.
It's not giving glory. It's just saying, hey, this is how we see that this organism evolved based on its genetics, physiology, and what we see in the fossil record. So triangulation.
Do you ever wish, though, that you could just praise God for the mantis? I can praise God for a thumb. Man, that's amazing. Wow. I don't have a problem praising God, giving glory to Him. There's a great video clip about 10 most beautiful praying mantises in the world. Watch that sometime. Let's see. Mantises need to make incredibly quick decisions because they don't chase their prey. For this reason, they have evolved 2 forward-facing eyes. Oh. They just evolved that way because they can't chase their prey. You got to give glory to evolution or it won't get published. I understand.
Do you think that the current scientific model doesn't say that that insects evolve eyes to help them with predatory endeavors? Is that the claim?
Understand. That's animals.how stuff works. Let's see. They have a flexible neck like owls. They can direct their gaze in pretty much any direction. Once the prey is in the right position, the visual field, they can then use their 2 eyes to triangulate and extract object size and position, much like we humans do with our eyes. Number 9, question 9. Please explain how the mantis evolved the ability to triangulate. That's basically
by triangulation. Its need to catch prey, its need to reproduce, and its need to survive in order to do both.
Trigonometry in your brain and fast reflexes to catch the prey. How do they do that? Their leg is phenomenal. They got the fibia, the femur, the claws all along there, just perfectly designed to grab insects. And some of them do the voodoo, the karate stance, you know, with their arms out like that. There's a bright purple one, a green one, a yellow one.
That purple one's Photoshopped.
Explain how the mantis evolved the perfect little spikes on its forelimbs. Those little spikes had to come from an amoeba, you know.
Spikes are pretty simple. And no, mantises didn't evolve just directly from amoebas. They evolved from a long line of arthropods with jointed limbs and chitin exoskeletons that perform a variety of functions.
Just don't have any spikes. Don't have any legs. You got to get a whole bunch of new information.
Why did God make mosquitoes? That's a good question, Johnster Monster. Guess Dr. Hovind will have to give you that.
These hatch out, you see them start to stretch out. How did the muscles develop inside that shell for them to move when they don't need them? Why did the muscles grow when they don't need the muscles in there? Matt, do they even think about this? They don't even think. There's a bright blue one, mantis. After mating, the female lays about 300 eggs in foam. She has a special gland that produces foam to go around, like great stuff, or spray foam.
Ootheca.
To go around the eggs.
It's called. Roaches do that too.
And foam hardens to protect them. And they stay there all winter. So wait. The female, this is her first time. She only lives to do this once. She mates for her first time, lays 300 or so eggs, and already has the gland to make the foam to insulate the babies. Let's see. Praying mantis from University of Illinois. The egg case, which we tend to find in fall and winter, are light brown, 1.5 inches wide, and look like foam insulation. Within each foam-like case are dozens or hundreds of mantis eggs that can survive the perils of winter because of their foamy insulation. So how did they survive for millions of years in the winter before they had the insulation? Did they have that gland for no reason?
No, they evolved in tandem,
Guys,
dude.
Would you quit playing around and
I
pretending?
bet the ones in the tropical regions can't survive in the winter. I bet if you you took a tropical mantis egg case and put it over winter in Illinois, that it would not survive. I bet it would the eggs would not hatch in the spring. What do you think, Kent? How did you accept that all these mantises have a common ancestor? How come they can't all survive the winter? They all have foam, right? They all have foam glands.
Evolution is science. It's a religion. Here's some cases of the foam mantis cases.
That's a
Now,
Chinese
special
mantis
about them.
there.
They leave a foamy garden ornament in your landscape, and then they die. The babies never meet mom and dad. You see them all over the place, a little foam patch full of eggs. Let's see. Praying mantis eggs. The adult female Chinese praying mantis will lay her massive egg case, known as the Uthaka, on twigs, stems, rocks. Now watch. Instead of answering my questions, they're going to pick on how I pronounce the word. I prophesy that. Okay. Carolina praying mantis, Uthakas, are smaller and flatter, almost resembling a fossilized trilobite. Oh. After laying, the case quickly hardens in preparation for a winter slumber, and the mother will die shortly after. The egg case, which we tend to find in fall and winter, are light brown, 1.5 inches wide, and look like foam insulation. With each foam-like Uthaka are dozens of hundreds of mantis eggs that can survive the perils of winter because of their foamy insulation.
Yeah, in those two
About
species.
20% of the babies will survive. How did she learn to make the foam? And after she sprayed...
She took a foam making course at her local junior college. Are you really asking this? How does a woman push out a baby, dude? We have the physiological functions to do so. This is so weird. Who taught human women to give birth? Do you think that there was a class that was given, or do you think that your body goes through the motions of giving birth? You're so weird, dude.
Sprays out this foam as the eggs are being laid. All of them are lined up, and they all have their own opening to the outside. They've all got their own exit door. Does she know that while she's laying them? She lays them out like that.
He's overgeneralizing too. Different mantis species lay their Uthaka down in different ways, depending on where they're from, what types of plants they lay their Uthaka on, and what type of prey they're planning on their babies engaging with.
They've hardened to protect them for the winter. Stunning. Where did the gland come from? How does one little bug lay 300 eggs? Let's see one of you women do that. And these egg cases of foam. Thought.com has a good article about it, but they still give glory to evolution.
Of course they do. It's
After
evolution. Do you think that any mainstream publication is going to have a writing staff that believes that God made everything magically?
Lay between 50 to 400 eggs in a foamy case. The foam is secreted from a gland in her abdomen. The foam looks white when laid, but it turns brown as it hardens. Here's somebody cut one in half, a cross section. Here's a cross section of what the egg case looks like when it's laid open. Each egg has its own chamber and exits to the outside of the egg case. How do you do that with foam? How do you spray foam and make each one have its own opening? So question 11. Please explain, evolutionists, step by step, how the mantis evolved the ability to produce foam. Does she know? Why does she care about protecting her young? She's going to die. Doesn't matter to her. She mates, lays her eggs, and dies.
She just following her natural instincts, dude.
What's her concern for the next generation?
What do you mean concern? Concern is a human construct. Please stop personifying insects. They are not people. They don't have concerns.
Protect her young that she will never see. Who taught her and equipped her to do this?
Nobody
taught her.
Real
science
her.
Answer, please.
Instinct.
Okay. Question. Let's see. What was that? Question. Oh, does she teach her female babies to do the same? No, she's dead. They just know. The brand new female, never seen mom, never seen dad, just knows how to make an egg case. Interesting. There's a whole bunch of babies hatching at the same time coming out of the egg case. Let's see. Question 12. How did the mantis learn to make this foam and lay the eggs in a pattern where each has its own opening to the outside? Give me a real scientific answer, please. How did that happen? They can eat a hummingbird. Here's one that looks like a leaf. Question number 13. Does the mantis know its camouflage to blend in?
No.
Does it know?
You're so
You really
weird,
believe this
dude.
happened by...
You think that it has to consciously be aware that it's hidden. It's just following instinct. It's not saying, "Oh, I'm hiding from predators." It's saying, "Hey, I'm doing the thing my biology tells me to do. Look, there's a fly. Num num num. Look, there's a female. Womp womp womp. Whatever the situation is, it has perfectly understandable biological instincts that drive it to do this. If you understand how a baby wants to seek out a nipple as soon as it comes out, then you should be able to understand this, Kent.
Random natural selection? Come on, really? I predict evolutionists will answer none of my simple questions with any real scientific answers. But will instead, I don't have a short attention span.
I even gave you simple answers.
Oh, look at the squirrel. Atheists will avoid all these questions like they've done all the other animals and plants in this Making Babies series, and will try to deflect and say, where's your degree from? Majority opinion. Oh, everybody believes in evolution. Oh, okay. And just so, well, it must have happened because it's here. Oh, look at the squirrel. You guys
I didn't
don't
give
have
any an
of those
answer,
answers.
Well,
oh, Lord, how manifold are thy works. In wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches. I will sing unto the Lord as long as I live. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Praise the Lord. All through the Bible it says we should bless the Lord or praise the Lord. See, I can look at a mantis.
Why do I care what the Bible says? Explain it to me. Why should I care what the Bible says? I don't understand. Explain.
And say, man, this is stunning. How did this evolve? They hear with their abdomen. Just study praying mantis and see all the cool...
Insects don't have ears on their head, dude. They don't. They don't breathe. They breathe through their abdomen too. They don't have any respiratory function on their head either. Yeah.
Cool stuff about them. If you have some, we'd send the egg cases here. We'll put them in our garden. You want them in your garden. They eat all the insects.
Not invasive species.
Behold the works of the Lord. Be still and know that I'm God. Amen. Give God the glory. Glory to his name. A lot of verses about that. A man can no more diminish God's glory by refusing to worship him than a lunatic can put out the sun by scribbling the words darkness on the walls of his cell. C.S. Lewis.
Yeah,
like
C.S. Lewis, sure.
Every one of us shall give account of himself to God. Romans 14. Philippians 2.
Talking about bending the knee, mantises have lots of knees.
Shall bow, of things in heaven, things in earth, things under the earth. Every tongue shall confess Jesus Christ is Lord. You're going to bow one day.
What does this have to do with mantises?
Can't take question and answer for the next week. Sorry about that. You can send them in to, where do they send them, Randall? Questions? whackanatheist@gmail.com. Okay, send them in. Any questions from here? We can at least take yours. Praying mantis, if you get a chance to get some egg cases, bring them. Put them in the garden. Okay, see you Sunday morning for Ephesians chapter 4. You might.
All right, so that was Creation Watch. Some hoven for your holes, for your ear holes on either side of your head to absorb and make you slightly dumber than you were before. Sorry, guys, but actually, hopefully I counter that and make you a little bit smarter as we go along and learn these things. Do want to talk about the giant cockroach that Kent Hovind claimed to have a giant cockroach fossil years ago. Now it seems to have disappeared. Anyway, cockroaches are very closely related to mantises, and I want to just pop over to read this really quick. Cockroach from the dinosaur era was a fearsome nighttime hunter. So these are the relatives of mantises, and kind of you see the correlation here in the relationship. London, 100 million year old cockroach specimen found preserved in amber is part of a new family of extinct predatory cockroaches that hunt at night, scientists say. The species, which was discovered in a mine in Noji Bomb Myanmar boasts a long neck that allows it to freely rotate its head, like a mantis. Look at that. The prehistoric roach had long spindly legs, much like many predatory insects today. According to the study published in the Journal of Geologica Carpathica, an analysis of the ancient specimen named Manipulator modificaputus, that's a cool name, suggests that it is a predatory insect likely pursuing prey at night. Modern roaches, while largely nocturnal, can be found scavenging from food, looking for anything from sweet to even hair, moldering books, and other decaying matter. It's because they have the ability to digest that the cellulose in the books and pages. Like, that's why, I mean, termites are a type of roach that specialized in that and became really eusocial. Again, according to Peter Vrsanky from the Geological Institute in Bratislava, Slovakia, and Gunter Beachley from the State Museum of Natural History in Stuttgart, Germany, who examined the insect. The specimen comes from the early Cretaceous period, from whence several predatory cockroach-like lineages evolved. Today, only one of those lineages remains, the praying mantis. Modern mantises have similar legs for careful pursuit and are actually close cousins of cockroaches, despite how different they look. All right, so yeah, I just wanted to share that and look at this reconstruction of it, because it's halfway between your cockroach and your praying mantis, or your modern cockroach and your modern praying mantis, I should say. All right, so that was some cryptic corner, or not cryptic corner. We did cryptic corner earlier, but yeah, definitely tune in Friday night for Cryptic Corner, because it's going to be an awesome show, and you get to hang out with me and all these cool cats over here as we explore more aspects of the mysterious and unknown. So thank you guys for joining me tonight, though, in Creation Watch. Appreciate you, and please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time. All right, now for my live from the Hive viewers, thank you so much for sticking with me for yet another episode of Creation Watch, and hope you enjoyed Creation Watch and Cryptic Corner this morning. Got 2 more topics we're going to stick our little beaks into, and I will see you over there, okay?
On this episode of God Made What? Now, normally I like to talk about cephalopods, but this time we're going to talk about a different type of mollusk. This is the Limix maximus, otherwise known as the giant leopard slug. And it deserves that name. I mean, look at the size of this thing. Now, despite its size, it still falls short in compared to the great black slug. And I wanted to bring up these creatures because they're not only hermaphrodites, but also because of their mating ritual. So what they do is climb themselves up into a high point, play a little bondage by hanging from a slime rope, and they not only intertwine themselves, but they also intertwine their little dinghies, located behind their head of all places. And look, when they climax, they form this flower thing to exchange sperm. And once they're really done, all the one does is just plop themselves to the ground while the other one climbs back up the rope. So for anybody that still thinks that in nature, sex happens between a male and a female organism, here's these guys.
All right, thank you for sticking with me through some Creation Watch and and CryptoCorner. We are ready for some HiveScience tonight. So, welcome to HiveScience. Hope you guys like giant slugs. And there was a reason I chose that little preamble video. So, yeah. Today we are talking about a very special species of slug, and this isn't a new article. It's from a couple years ago, but that's fine. I mean, this is new species of hot pink slug described in Australia, May 2018. So from a few years back, but these suckers get up to 8 inches long and are freaking gorgeously hot pink and live in this very special little niche environment. So let's read on. Very few people seek out slugs while adventuring in the woods. Yet if you are trekking through the misty forests of Mount Kaputar, I think is how we say it, but Mount Kaputar in New South Wales, you might just be lucky enough to see an otherwise unassuming slug boldly sporting a fluorescent pink exterior. The 20 centimeter long, 8-inch vivid invertebrate are only found in the 1,000 meter plus elevation eucalyptus forest that rings the mountain. Previously believed to be a variety of the red triangle slug. I'm going to try this word and you guys can laugh at me, but let's go for it. It's Triboniophorus gaffii, I think it's graphii. Yeah. Triboniophorus graphii. Yeah, we're going to go with that. That sounds excellent to me. A species common along the New South Wales coast. A genetic analysis proves that they are actually a distinct endemic species. A paper describing the as of yet unnamed species will be published soon. According to Michael Murphy, a National Park and Wildlife Service ranger stationed at the mountain, who has collected most of the known information about the slugs. It's just one of those magical places, Murphy said to the Sydney Morning Herald. It's a tiny island of alpine forest, hundreds of kilometers away from anything else like it. The slugs, for example, are buried in the leaf mold during the day, but sometimes at night they come out in their hundreds of feet of the mold and moss on the trees. They are amazing, unreal-looking creatures. Sorry, there's somebody talking outside. It's distracted me. Got my window open. All right, there's a good photo of them. Look like the giant tongues, don't they? Look like giant tongues. First formed by a volcanic eruption some 18 million years ago, the mountainous slopes have evolved into a moist and cool forest ecosystem that is quite at odds with the hot, arid lowland environment now surrounding it. Naturalists from the New South Wales Scientific Committee speculate that the slug's ancestors arrived at Caputar during a geological period when the entire eastern coast of Australia was covered in lush rainforest. Yet as the inland region dried out over the millennia, the population became isolated. Look at that beautiful, beautiful slug. This pink slug has gone unstudied for so long because Australia's slug and snail research, known as malacologists, are far outnumbered by their koala investigating brethren. Yeah, Australia is so cool. It's easy to overlook some of the little things, some of the small creatures that are roaming around in the forest. Oh my gosh, I'm just seeing this now. Native Atheist is amazing. I dedicate this section of this little episode of Eco News to Native Atheist. Native Atheist and helping save the pink slug. I'm really appreciative of your donation, my friend. Thank you. Now, the florid creatures are limited to a narrow environmental envelope around Mount Caputar. Although exact population figures are unknown, the pink slug is currently listed as endangered due to habitat destruction caused by feral pigs and climate fluctuations. According to the IUCN Red List, the species may soon vanish entirely because the slug's unique ecosystem is actually susceptible to climate change. Rising temperatures reduce rainfall, and the resulting increase in forest fires will transform their humid oasis into an inhospitable environment resembling that of the lowlands. As the species shifts its range higher and higher elevation to compensate, they will eventually top out and perish, a process called mountaintop extinction. As to why the slugs evolved their shocking color, scientists like Murphy can only speculate. One possible explanation is that it is an adaptation for distinguishing themselves among the red-toned eucalyptus leaf litter in the Caputar forest. However, the slugs also spend a lot of their time high on tree trunks, nowhere near fallen leaves, so it is possible that the color is just a quirk of evolution. Murphy told National Geographic, "I think if you are isolated on a remote mountaintop, you can pretty much be whatever color you like." Well, I mean, you want to be a color. You don't want to be a color that attracts predators. There's another gorgeous image of them. Pretty cool stuff, though. Yeah, I think they look like giant tongues myself, but so they're still around as of right now. For the time being, these guys are still with us, but we may see this species go extinct within our lifetime. Anyway, that was a little bit of eco news for you. Now, thank you for joining me, and please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time. All right, and now, live from the Hive, we're going to move into our last little segment here. We are talking about a new paper, or new article, I guess I should say, on the parenting styles of the pterosaurs. So if you're into that sort of thing, stick around as we dive into today's Paleo Peek. Did the pterosaur, flying reptiles from the days of the dinosaurs, practice parental care or not? New research shows that pterosaurs were indeed caring parents, but only the large species. Did the pterosaurs, flying reptiles from the days of the dinosaurs, practice parental care or not? New research by scientists from Ireland's University College Cork, China, Nanjing, and Yunnan universities, and the UK University of Bristol and Queen Mary Anne University of London show that pterosaurs were indeed carrying parents, but only the large species. This solves a long-standing conundrum. To be able to fly soon after hatching from the egg, a bird or pterosaur must have well-developed wings. Studies of smaller pterosaurs from the Jurassic showed that their babies already had large wings when they hatched, and they could have wobbled into flight within a few days of birth. But did this work for the later pterosaurs, which were much larger sized? In the Cretaceous, pterosaurs in the Cretaceous, pterosaurs usually had a wingspan of 5 meters, and some even reached 15 meters. The size of a small glider, size of a small plane. Some of them were, Aerosaurids were size of a freaking plane. This was a difficult project, says the study leader, Dr. Xiao Yang from the University College of Cork. We needed examples for pterosaurs where we had at least one hatchling or very, very young specimen as well as an adult, so we could study their growth rates. But baby pterosaurs are really rare. Dr. Yang collaborated with Professor Bei Yujing from Nanjing University, Professor Michael Bitton from the University of Bristol, Professor Yu Xing from Yunnan University, and Professor Maria McNarma of UCC on the research. So I apologize for butchering anybody's names there. I do want to share your guys' research without trying to offend anybody. So bear with me. I just want to make sure the world's able to hear your stories, research team. Luckily, we were able to use some classic specimens from the Jurassic of Europe and the Cretaceous of North America, together with new finds from China. By measuring the skulls, backbones, wings, and hind legs, we were able to test the differences in relative growth of different parts of the body. The research focused on testing the allometry, or how the creature's characteristics changed with size. We are all familiar with allometry in human babies, puppies, and kittens. Their heads, eyes, and knees are huge, and the rest of their body grows fast to get to adult proportions. It's the same with many animals, including dinosaurs and pterosaurs. The babies have cute faces with short noses, big eyes, and big heads, Dr. Yang said. The small bird-sized Jurassic pterosaurs were born with large wings and strong arms and legs, evidence that the babies could fly from birth. As they grew from baby to adult, their arms and legs showed negative allometry, meaning they started large and were then growing more slowly than the rest of the body. But it was different for the Cretaceous giants. They also started as small babies, but the key limb bones show positive allometry through growth, suggesting a very different developmental model. This means that the pterosaur giants had sacrificed low-input childcare to the need to grow huge eventually as adults. Minimal childcare makes sense in the early evolutionary history of these ancient reptiles because it saves energy. But to grow huge, the larger pterosaurs had a problem. It basically took much longer to become an adult, and therefore parents needed to protect their young from accidents. The babies of all pterosaurs, large and small, were small because of the adaptation of egg size, investing in childcare by having non-flying babies was offset in evolutionary terms by allowing pterosaurs to evolve truly huge sizes. We see the same thing in birds and mammals today. Some birds fly very young, and of course some mammals like cattle and antelope are on their feet the day they were born. But this is kind of behavior is risky for the babies because they are often clumsy and easy targets for predators. It's costly also for the mother because the babies must have highly developed wings to develop and legs at the point of birth. So we see the same thing in extinct pterosaurs. They were restricted to maximum body size until the end of the Jurassic, at which point the parental care behavior changed and they could achieve huge sizes. So that's a pretty interesting read if I don't say so myself, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. I always love doing these little paleo peeks when there's something new about behavior. So appreciate everybody sticking around. Hey, good morning. Good morning back. All right. So thank you guys. Thank everybody. It's 21 people watching still. 21 people sticking around till the very end of Live from the Hive. I love it. Thank you so much for being my friends and hanging out with me and learning some science. We had what did we have today? We had sharks for our cryptic corner, the Jersey Shore shark attacks. What was that mysterious shark that was attacking people up and down the New Jersey coast in 1916? Will we ever know? Probably not. But it's fun to speculate. Then we had some Hovind with mantises on the brain. Hovind was really into the reproductive cycle of different animals here lately, so he did a mantis video and I had to respond. Hope you enjoyed that as well. If you didn't catch it, you could just rewind back and catch either one of those segments. The show is always divided up for you, so it makes it easy to navigate. And then what we had some eco news where we had this giant pink slugs in this little dying ecosystem at the top of a mountain. We talked about mountaintop extinction a little bit, which is always interesting. And then we had some pterosaurs and learning to fly. All right, so thank you so much for sticking with me. Please remember to be kind and take care. We'll see you next time. Mwah.
Hello and welcome. Godless Clarity is about a lot of things. I talk about any issue that affects me or on which I have strong opinions. Most frequently, that's religious issues, women's issues, transgender issues, and political issues. I believe in social justice and equality for all. I feel that everyone has a right to believe what they want, but that right doesn't absolve you of criticism of your beliefs. Thus, I criticize both outlying religious ideas and mainstream ideology. I welcome theists to discuss or debate their issues with me live on stream. Contact me on Twitter if you'd like to do that. I was a Christian for 42 years. In my last decade as a believer, I became increasingly liberal, seeing that as being more consistent with biblical ideas. But eventually, the cognitive dissonance between liberal thought and certain parts of the Bible brought me to evolve my theology. I still hung on to the inerrancy of the Bible and continued to look for ways to interpret the Bible to fit reality. But when it was proven to me that the biblical flood did not happen, thank you Aaron Ra, Vice Rhino and Pelagia, there was no longer anywhere to go. I had to let go of inerrancy. But without the Bible, my faith had no foundation, and then I left the faith. I have since met people of faith who reject inerrancy. I find this a more honest faith, but I also find it a purely human construct. Why believe in a God if you have to make up the God and what the God is all about? I now criticize the very religious beliefs that I held for decades, as I now realize that they not only do not originate from a God that loves me, but that they were dangerous in that they limited me. They limited me as a person by discouraging thought and learning. It restricted my relationships and my ability to develop myself as a person. I hope to do several things here. I hope to reach others of my generation, as we are the primary people that are still holding on to this outdated ideology. Second, I hope to reach the younger generation, imploring them not to follow in my footsteps. And third, I hope to show how the younger generation who has already left the faith can reach their parents. What arguments did I find convincing that will likely convince their parents? So come on in, let's have a chat.